I'm Matthew Malcolm with California Dairy Magazine, reporting to you here today with Aubrey Bettencourt, Executive Director of the Farm Service Agency with USDA over in California, and wanted to talk with you about, with the passage of the Farm Bill, what does this mean for California dairy producers? How is it going to impact them?
Well, we're really thankful, first of all, that the Farm Bill passed. There was a lot of tension going into that and worries about renewing. And while we're seeing some changes, not massive changes across Farm Bill, but there's some key changes, and one of the biggest key changes is going to be in dairy. Going away or creating basically a new evolution of the market protection program, or margin protection program, now to the dairy margin coverage program. And there's going to be some new changes with regards to how premiums are addressed. I think really trying to be much more favorable to the producer with their enrollment in the program, making it much more beneficial to them, much easier for them to get participation within that program. And more importantly, that's become a priority as we've implemented Farm Bill. So now that it's passed, USDA is circling up, putting together task force to focus on implementing the programs that Congress has set forward. And I'm happy to announce that we actually do have Californians from Farm Service Agency here in California on those task force specifically for dairy. So we really are trying to kind of bring that California voice, that California dairy voice, as these new changes are coming into play.
Great. And you mentioned, the old program, the margin protection program, really didn't work for California dairy producers. What did you have to say about that?
That program was a difficult program, I know, for a lot of producers, especially in times of need. It's well-intentioned but needed some tweaking. So this opportunity that's presented itself with the new DMC program out of the new Farm Bill, I think, is going to provide a lot of opportunity to make this a better program, more understanding of the dairy industry as it currently stands, and more understanding of the California dairy environment. One thing that margin protection program had some trouble with in California was the cost of input. Feed costs in California are just so much more different and so much higher than in other parts of the country. And so sometimes when you were penciling out the math, it just didn't quite work out for producers quite as well as it could have to make a better impact to help them in times of need. We're hoping through these new opportunities, these new changes with the DMC, that we're going to see that incorporated a little bit more. I have confidence in my team that we've sent to Washington to work on this, and I definitely know we're going to have that voice put in there, and hopefully, again, try to make the mechanics of these programs be more sensitive to those considerations.
Great. Now, you come from an agricultural background.
Yes, I do.
Is your dad related to the dairy industry?
My great-grandfather was a dairyman. My grandfather was a dairyman. My dad figured out that you had to like cows to do that, and so we actually went into, my father and I are actually in row crops and tree nuts as well. So still doing row crops, still doing tree nuts. Got away from the dairy thing, but there's a soft spot in my heart for it always.
Great. So we can count on with you in this position, and it's been like a year and a half.
It's been about a year now, yeah, just over
a year now. We can definitely count on better representation.
I'm an unapologetic California farm girl, so it doesn't matter what kind of farming we're doing in California. I'm going to make sure that voice is heard very clearly in the halls of Washington.
Great. So this new program is something that dairy producers in California can look forward to.
I definitely keep an eye on these changes. Anytime, probably the best thing that Farm Bill does is it provides an opportunity to revisit these programs, and provides an opportunity for the kind of the geeky mechanics operators like the Farm Service Agency to get in there and say, how do we need to make this work based on the feedback we've been getting on these programs for the last few years? So anytime we have these opportunities of change and evolution, it's a good opportunity for these programs to make good improvements. So there's something really important, I think, that dairy producers in California can definitely take into consideration. Because this is going to be one of the first programs worked on in the new Farm Bill implementation, we currently have teams working on it right now in Washington. It's important for producers to make sure that they're getting their voices heard, make sure their advocacy groups are definitely getting their voices heard. So on February 26th, there will be a listening session hosted by Undersecretary Bill Northey, who's the Undersecretary for Farm Production and Conservation Services. He oversees the three agencies that probably have the biggest effect directly to farmers, which is Farm Service Agency, Natural Resource Conservation Service, and the Risk Management Agency. So it's really important, as these feedbacks are coming in, as these opportunities for change and development within Farm Bill are coming in, to participate in the listening sessions, to get that input brought in so that our teams and task force can get that feedback from the ground and start implementing that in the mechanics of designing these programs or revamping these programs. To learn more about that, I would encourage producers to visit farmers.gov and click on the link for Farm Bill. You can sign up for the listening sessions and get more information about kind of where we are in the process.
Awesome. Thank you, Aubrey. We appreciate you being in this position and making sure that California agriculture is represented there in Washington. Read more about these things in California Dairy Magazine. I'm Matthew Malcolm, CaliforniaAgNet.com.